Welcome back to me reading Transported, a Wings of Fire story. This time, chapter 28. As usual, if this is your first time watching this little series, I recommend you to watch the previous chapters or read them yourself. Now let's begin. This chapter's name is called Red Wings Relic. It was somewhere between late morning and early afternoon when Star and Daniel finally got back to their friends. Many of them were still asleep, surprisingly. However, Pearl seemed to already be awake. She looked up, her attention caught by the crunching of cold snow under Daniel's and Star's talons. "Hey, you're back!" Pearl yelled happily, though she shrunk down quietly after realizing how loud her voice was. "Sorry," she said quietly. Daniel and Star just smiled. "Yeah, good to see you too, guys," Daniel said. He walked towards them before he sat down on the floor. There was a slight, cold tingle in his scales when they touched the snow, but he soon got used to it. Keebly, Pearl, and Star joined him as they sat in a small circle. "So," Keebly started, "did you guys find anything?" Daniel and Star nodded as they revealed the compass. "We found this," Star said. Daniel placed the compass in the center of the group circle so they could all see it. "Whoa, that's definitely something," Pearl said as she studied the compass closely. She reached out to take a closer look. That's when Keebly stopped her. "Hey, be careful!" He snatched the compass away quickly before Pearl's talons could melt the compass into dirt. "Fire scales, remember?" "Oh, right," Pearl said, shying away from where the compass was. "I forgot I'm cursed." Daniel felt bad for the Skywing. He knew Pearl didn't like her fire scales, just from reading the initial series back on Earth. Though I never really saw how bad it was. She's not able to do basic things. Man, I'm so sorry, Pearl. The circle of dragons fell silent as Pearl shuffled her talons nervously. It was clear she was uncomfortable, so Daniel switched the subject. "So that's not all we found, really." Daniel spoke, which earned him a strange look from Star. He saw this and immediately knew what she was thinking. We did run into some ice wings on the way there, but nothing serious," Daniel added. "Wait, you did? Are you all right? Were you spotted?" If you were, if you were, then we could have a big issue. The Queens would find out. We could have a potential war." "Keebly, you're doing it again," Pearl said calmly, unfazed by his words of panic. Kiwi looked at her before the words sank in. "Oh, I am? Sorry. Just a bad habit, I guess." He apologized. Daniel, meanwhile, was slightly put on edge. "I'm sorry. What was that?" He knew Keebly had the tendency to overthink a lot, but it wasn't that bad. "Well, maybe it wasn't that bad to me while I was reading, but I'm not reading a book anymore. This is real. If he's like this constantly, I'm not sure how he's able to live a normal life." "Sorry, Hurricane. I tend to overthink sometimes," Keebly explained, though Daniel could tell he overthinked on a constant basis. "It's fine. Don't worry," Star said in a reassuring tone, which made Daniel remember she was actually there. "Besides, I'm more interested in finding out what this compass is." "Agreed," Daniel said as he beckoned for Keebly to give him back the compass. He complied, and soon there was a bright red compass inside the palm of his talon. "I was shaped like a dragon." I'm not shaped like a dragon. I'm shaped like a human. We love typos here. They make us laugh. "I was shaped like a dragon. Had full red wings. I wish I did. And body. And he swore he had seen it somewhere else. But he couldn't put his claw on it. Not just yet, at least." Placing the compass back on the snow, Pearl walked up for a closer view. Star was about to grab the compass for safety purposes, but was stopped when Daniel reached a limb out in front of her, stopping her in their tracks. She gave him a worried look, which Daniel understood. She was scared Pearl would melt the compass, and they would lose the only thing they worked for. But she won't do that. She knows better. Keebley also shot significant glances between Pearl, the compass, and Daniel, though when Daniel ignored them, he kept silent. They all watched as Pearl examined the compass closely. She lowered her head close up to the red relic, as steam flew off from her sizzling scales. There were a few moments of tense silence as Pearl looked up to the sky and back at the compass, a look of puzzlement forming on her face. What's the matter? Daniel asked as he looked at his scorching friend curiously. Pearl ignored his question for a moment as she looked up to the sky again, this time making a small little gestures with her claws as if she was drawing something. However, she soon looked Daniel straight in the eyes and answered his question. The compass is wrong. What? How could it be wrong? Star objected to, which she snatched the compass from under Pearl's snout, which almost earned her a large burn, but she didn't care. She fiddled with the relic in her talons, confusing on how it was wrong. Pearl sighed. Look, the sun rises in the west and sets in the east. She drew an invisible line across the sky with her talon. The compass is not pointing north. It's pointing slightly northeast. So, we literally found the stupid thing in a rock. Who knows how old it is? It could have been slightly messed up over time. There was no space in between over and time. So, overtime. Star said, still refusing to believe it was broken. Pearl swayed her head dismissively. It doesn't work like that, but I won't explain it. The point is that it's broken. Keebley made a face, but soon spoke out. What if it's not a compass at all? What if it's something else? Everyone fell silent, confused, until Daniel broke the awkward silence. Okay. Well, if it's not a compass, then what is it? Now that, Pearl stated, I have no clue. Ah, just perfect. We have no idea what in the moons this thing is, and we're running out of time. Keebley spoke. He flared his wings, distressed. Hey, it's not all bad. I mean, at least we came back with something, Daniel said positively, trying to get his friend's spirits up. I guess. Though I'm not sure how useful it is, if we don't even know what it does, Star groaned. I think I can help with that. A random voice interjected. Everyone switched their attention to the source of the voice, but were surprised to see it was just their friend Turtle. Turtle? What are you doing up so early? Pearl asked. Yeah, I thought you were a late sleeper, Keebley asked. Oh, I am, Turtle admitted before he laughed a little. Have you not seen the sun? It's easily past 1 in the afternoon by now. Spontaneously, everyone looked up and were immediately blinded by the bright afternoon sun. Ah, my eyes! Daniel said, which just made Turtle laugh hysterically, as everyone else had similar reactions. Turtle laughed, while everyone else rubbed their eyes and groaned. Yeah, no, you can be real annoying sometimes, Keebley said semi-sarcastically. Yeah, I know, but I've got to have fun at least. See some... Wait, what? I got to have fun at least SE sometimes, right? We love typos here that make us laugh. I got to have fun at least say sometimes, right? Turtle laughed, which just made Keebley sigh. Anyways, you said you could help us with this. Keebley gestured to the relic. How exactly? Turtle didn't speak. Instead, he walked over to where the piece of red metal was and spoke the words. I enchant you to tell us exactly what you are and what your purpose is. Daniel's eyes went wide as Turtle finished the sentence. Turtle, no! You can't use your magic! It was too late. The damage had already been done. But he could at least try and stop him for his future. And why not? It's my choice. I know the risks. Turtle responded in an annoyed tone, which was kind of out of character for him. Oh no. Is the magic already corrupting his soul? Daniel thought worriedly. Yes, I know that it's your choice. But please, I don't want you to end up like Albatross. Turtle frowned. He knew what Daniel meant, though he didn't regret it. Trust me, I'll be fine. Daniel sighed. He knew he couldn't win, so he just nodded his head to what Turtle said. If you say so. Turtle was about to respond when the relic suddenly whipped out of his talon and started to hover in the air, gaining everyone's attention. A mysterious voice came from the relic, which sent shivers down the spines of Daniel, Star, and Keebly. I am the keeper of the scrolls, seer of futures. I was enchanted to locate the nearest scroll of chaos in order to keep them away, them safe from the rest of the world. The voice then fell silent. Wow. That was unexpected, Pearl said. You think? Star yelled. This thing's enchanted. Yeah, and if anything sounds powerful enough to make Pyrea burn, it would be the so-called Scrolls of Chaos that's it's supposedly tracking. There was another tense silence. Well, that settles it then, Daniel said as he got up and shook off the snow which had attached to his scales. The others looked at him, perplexed. What do you mean by that? Turtle asked. Well, if this thing is enchanted to track these so-called Scrolls of Chaos, he made a little sarcastic marks with his claws, then I think we should check them out. Whoa. Just hold on a minute. We don't even know what these Scrolls of Chaos even are. What if we're biting off more than we could chew? Keebly said. I'm with Keebly here. This seems like a bad idea. Star spoke, but Daniel had already made up his mind. Look, according to my cryptic-ass prophecy, if we don't do something, Pyrea is going to burn. And this is our only lead. Star sighed. There's no talking you out of this, is there? Nope. Well, what are we waiting for? Let's go save Pyrea then. Pearl spoke enthusiastically. She was about. A space bout. We love typos here, they make us laugh. She was about to take off when Turtle spoke out. Wait a second. You should at least make a plan for this. The tracker is pointing towards the Ice Kingdom, so it would be wise to send an Ice Wing with you. Turtle made a significant glance towards a sleeping Winter. Also, maybe a small group would world. Oh boy. Would world best for this. Who knows where it will take you. And a large group of dragons might be hard to keep track of. Daniel placed a talon on the bottom of his snout. Fine. Me, Star, and Winter will follow the tracker. Meanwhile, you guys try to figure out what the other lines of the prophecy could mean. He took out the 2 pieces of parchment from his bag and handed them to Keebly. Oh man, do I really need to hang back again? Sorry, dude, but you're not fit for the Ice Kingdom, Daniel said apologetically. And besides, your brilliant brain is more useful here, cracking the code to the prophecy. Really? Because right now I feel really useless, Keebly admitted. Well, you're not. Trust me. You'll have more impact here than with us, Daniel explained. Really? Keebly said, still uncertain. Of course, Pearl said. You're the smartest one out of all of us. We need you for this. Keebly sighed, but finally complied. All right. I'll hang back again. Thank you, Keebly, Daniel said. You'll do great here. Trust me. Sure thing. Just stay safe for me out there. You too, Star. Don't get yourselves captured or killed, Keebly demanded. Don't worry, we won't. Star laughed as she shot the worried Sandwing a smile. Promise? Keebly asked. We promise, Daniel said as Keebly finally smiled. Okay, don't do anything stupid to get us in trouble. I think we might actually have enough when we get back to school. Daniel laughed. Right. Well, come on then. Wake up Snow for brains over there. We got a world to save. He pointed to Winter, who was still sound asleep, though it wouldn't be for long. Right. I got you. Don't worry about it, Taro replied calmly. He had a cheeky grin on his face, which gave Daniel the impression that Winter wasn't going to have a peaceful awakening. He looked down to the tracker in his talon as he thought, well, I never thought I'd be trying to save the world at any time in my life. So let's hope we succeed. Mom, Dad, I'll make you proud, even if you're watching from up there. And Charlotte, I'll find you a sister. Don't worry about a thing. And that is the end of the chapter, except for, as usual, the author's note at the very bottom. Yo! What's up, beautiful people? I hope you enjoyed this little chapter. Open parentheses. Sorry, it was shorter than usual. Close parentheses, which is good for my throat. Jokes aside. I needed to end it off so it wouldn't be too big when I wrote the coming parts of the story. My apologies for the really slow updates, as I've been dealing with a lot of internals lately and esports tournaments. It's a gamer. Oh boy. Don't help with time either. But nonetheless, I'll try to get on the next chapter of Daniel's adventure. Put soon. I think that is the first time I've seen a typo in an author's note. Adventure put soon. So just sit tight. Well, that's all, folks. See you in the next one. Peace. Gonna leave this one really short. So they got back. They figured out what the compass does. And yeah, I think that's it. See you next time.